Let's go, let's go. 59J, we out here. Nickel, yay!
C-Dub on the beat.
Slide through that city, made that Chevy swerve. The bank account jumping, gotta do a twerk. Keep hating like you isn't, get your feelings hurt. I got the 10 cent low.
What's good with everybody, man? I hope everybody's having a productive day, feeling blessed, and like I always say, it's one life, one chance. We only got one chance to do this right. Let's get it done. So let's get into another video, another topic, new discussion with a positive message. So with that being said, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, always leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Check the links in the description for my Apple and Spotify music to go ahead and run my streams up. And you can check out my playlist section on my YouTube channel to check out Renegade music right there. Thank you guys for you guys' time. But most importantly, thank you guys for you guys' support. Now I want to talk about a certain NF member that I knew personally as well. Also, a little bit of backstory. Everybody knows about Robert Palomino. And here's the thing though, right? The Palominos in Visalia are a big family. They're a big group. A lot of brothers. He has an older brother who's Larry Palomino, who's actually a carnal right now in Pelican Bay. Now this individual actually got his brother busted because of his wife. Obviously, he's the kind of type of dude that, you know, if he feels like his wife's cheating, whether she is or she isn't, you were gone. He actually got busted for a murder a long time ago. And he was actually in Pelican Bay for quite some time. And it's crazy because before I even met the individual, before he came out of Pelican Bay, he was up there with Bubbles. And I remember Bubbles saying, like, Bubbles described him like this, bro. Like, man, that was like their little golden child, bro, for the big homies, bro. We all used to, like, everybody, they were like pretty much the NF brass at the time were trying to like mold this dude. Like, they knew he was going home. They knew where his mentality was at, that he was going to sew it all up for him. They were going to go back to the glory days. Like, way back in the day, like, when the Romans were building Colosseums type stuff. Ooh. Like, this man was going to come home and build an empire. But that's pretty much how they portrayed this individual before I met him. But see, I had been hearing about him a long time ago. I had been talking to a boxer from Paradigm Media News, and I remembered the one individual that got taken out before Robert came home. He was an individual by the name of Cobra. Cobra got killed in Visa. He was a street regiment commander for Tulare County, resided in Visa, and they killed him on his front yard. And then there was a big old vacuum, an uproar, Black Widow operation kicked into effect, so a big old storm hit the streets. Then the video warfare got passed around. The streets of Tulare County were kind of up for grabs. A couple of carnales were running it from the penal system, appointing their, elective, regiment commanders, norteños with status, so on and so forth. It was a big uproar. I was actually in CYA with Cobra's son at the time. So, anyways, Palominos are a big family. They were responsible for the drug game. And I was close to T-Bone. T-Bone recently got shot in the streets of Visalia. I was on the SNY with T-Bone as well. We were talking about taking over the streets for a very long time while I was SNY. Because I knew they had the plug, and I knew with just that family alone and their plug and their connections, that family alone could take over the streets of Tulare County. It's that simple. Well, T-Bone got out, tried to do his thing, and they actually shot him up in his ribs at, I think it was a Pizza Hut or Domino's Pizza, if I'm not mistaken. So now he was running around on the streets. There's a reason why he came back and Silver never came back, because Silver's on the streets right now from Farmersville, but he's MIA. No, he's nowhere to be found. No one will ever locate this man. So Palomino comes out finally. Bubbles is doing his thing in Kings County. Robert's out here on the streets, and he's taking over. When things got hot after the Red Soul and the Red Reaper indictments, Robert Palomino, his name is Beto, everybody calls him Beto, he started establishing his presence in Modesto. There was a couple of carnales working under him that got busted in, I believe it was Dano or crossing Kern County lines with a U-Haul full of crystal meth that they were trying to bring in. They were trying to establish different grounds in different cities. So in about 2009, maybe 2000 something, it was around that time, the article says it was a triple murder that happened in Modesto, California. What the circumstances are, young kids got hit in the process. 18-year-old, 16-year-old, a 30-something-year-old. They were targeting the old lady. And from a jailhouse informant named Robert Dunlap, he pretty much testified during the court proceedings that Beto Palomino was bragging that he was the authority in charge. He was the stronghold of this facility, that he was an NF member. The jailhouse informant, the evidence he provided But he actually provided wheelouts that were sent by Beto Palomino itself, admitting to the, having Madrid killed and so on and so forth, and a bunch of other people, and that triple murder, and that he was in county jail bragging about how he's the authority in charge. But it was circumstantial evidence because this jailhouse snitch has been appointed in different, well, he's been testifying in different cases, and they were trying to say that he's discreditable because he's only doing it to get his sentence reduced. So it was all circumstantial evidence. But I know Beto to be that kind of person personally. But Beto, as an NF member, him and a bunch of other people that were charged with premeditated and conspiracy charges actually took a deal to get lesser charges if they tell on the 3 individuals that one of them was facing the death penalty and the other ones were facing life. Those 3 pleaded guilty and copped out to get a lighter sentence, while the rest of the individuals that were involved in this triple murder in Modesto took even lesser deals to tell on them to make sure these individuals got life. And they all got released. Once the court proceedings are going to be done and over with, they'll be released. But the article says that they're released, though, but I think it's more or less. So imagine that. And he's the one that sanctioned this triple murder. Just like he sanctioned a lot of other things in Tulare County that people are familiar with when it comes to this individual. He's a ruthless and heartless individual. But seeing him in person was a whole different story. The first time I ever met this guy, believe it or not, I was in a car with the homies. I had just, like I said, I was working for Porterville Regiment, but sometimes we'd have to come to Visalia, or we'd have to go to Visalia, we'd have to go to Woodlake, we'd have to just stop in these little towns, sew things up, man, make our presence be known, put some rules and regulations and so on, and that's it. And then we actually seen Beto walking. And the homie's like, hey, what's up with the big homie, bro? The big homie can't be walking, bro. Let's give him a ride. And Beto was walking. Beto was hella small. Beto was like walking like this, and the homie's like, hey, what's up, fool? Get in the car. And Beto's like, hey, fool, get the hell out of here, bro. The feds are watching me, bro. Come on, man, you're making the spot hot. And kept it pushing. And the homie pulls up a little more like, hey, bro, it's hot, bro. It's hot outside. You sure you don't want to ride? He was like, man, get the fuck out of here, bro. Just get out of here. Like, he was paranoid that anything, every car that ever pulled up next to him was an FBI agent. The FBI was on him, but, he still was the regiment commander. The NF homies, they don't care if you're under surveillance. They don't care if you're being tailed, tracked, wiretapped. You're going to conduct NF business. So he had no other choice. But he was making a lot of money. I knew he had a couple of cars. I know he used to drive around in this Chrysler. When he did decide to drive, he had this Chrysler. So one night they made it throw a meeting, right? This meeting went like haywire, bro. It's funny, but it just went haywire. So he called squads from different cities in Tulare County, which was like at the time maybe like 5 cities. And there was like a couple homies from like Tirabella, Seville, like Woodlake or Catela. Just like maybe 2 or 3 homies showed up. But the squads that were really established were Lindsay, Porterville, Tulare, Visalia. I'd say Woodlake was one of them, but I don't think so. I think it was another town. I'm not too sure where it was. Or Strafas. It was one of them. It was one of them cities. So we're all bunched up, bro. Bunched up in this little backyard. And he sounds just like Silver. Doing the same thing Silver was doing. We need to start extorting businesses. We need to start making businesses pay rent. This is our city. This is our calles. Any business needs to pay taxes to us. Any dope dealers get a pack. We're going to tax all paisas, this and this and that. He had 32 orders. And we were like, all right, cool. So we talked for about an hour. So now I get to see like his presence. Now I get to hear him like how he really is. Because any other time, he was in a car driving by. Or like that time like he's like paranoid. Like, get away from me. Get away from me. Like that. So I didn't think much of it. So I'm listening to him. So he gave out his orders. Then everything was kickback. Everybody drinking beer. Now the house he was at wasn't his particular house. But it was a house that he was hiding out at. I can say that much. He's having a couple beers. They had the music on. It was a good time. But it was all homies. No hyenas, bro. Like 50-some homies, bro. Nobody wants to be around that much dingling in one night in one area. And at that, the backyard was small, bro. We're just like bumping into each other, getting past each other. The backyard was small. Let me point that out one more time. It was small. Oh, bro, but the way it ended, bro, was funny as hell. So there's a homie, right? He was from Visalia. And he decided to brag about his new little, I think it was a 38, bro. But it looked tight, though. It was snub nose, bro. The grip was clean. And he was just like waving it around like, look, yeah, bro, I just did this and this and this and that. And there's a homie in front of him from Tulare. What happens? The homie accidentally touches it, the hair trigger. So the gun goes off. Boom! And you see everybody like, oh, what the? cups flying, beers fall. Everybody's ready to draw down and smoke each other. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be a big video warfare. All of the videos that beef on in the cuts behind the scenes are all here. We're all just going to just duke it out, bro. There's going to be one crazy massacre. I can already see the headlines. NF massacre in small backyard. The dogs were the only survivors. So the homie, I remember seeing the homie's face like, oh damn. And the homie in front of him, Tulare, is like, oh fool. He starts picking up his shirt like, oh fool, you hit me, fool. You shot me, bro. Oh, and he pulled. I swear, bro, within a matter of seconds, bro, he pulls out, shoots the homie in the stomach. And now we're like, oh, what the? So we're thinking, and what I was thinking, and a lot of other people thinking, was Vice and Tulare going at it. Because we have history of Tulare and Visalia going at it, but Visalia goes at it with everybody, bro. They don't like nobody else but themselves. So the homie gets shot in the stomach and the homie falls. But then the other homie realizes that he ain't shot, that the bullet missed him. So here comes Beto walking like the penguin off of Batman, like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You're making a fucking spot. Everybody get the fuck out of here. He starts yelling, bro, and he bounces, leaves the homie right there to bleed at his own hiding spot. We all leave, bro. That's the God on the street. We all left. I don't know who decided to stay with that homie and get the homie to the hospital, but I wound up going back to Porterville. I didn't hear what happened after that. I got to county jail, and then I started asking homies from Vice, like, hey, bro, did y'all hear about that situation with Beto and all that, with the woo? Because Beto at the time had the street to Tulare County, but he wasn't the authority for Tulare County main jail. I think he appointed somebody else because that's not who we were answering to in county jail. The homie Thumpler from Tablas was on freeze, but he was a carnal at the time. So really, initially, we were going through the homie Yayo from Lindsay, and he was answering to a carnal that was responsible for the oil, that was responsible for the Bob Wiley at the time. So Beto was still doing his thing, but this is when Beto was doing stuff down south, bringing everything up north and trying to establish different regiments in up north cities like Modesto, where he got busted for the triple murder. But I used to ask homies in county jail about it, and homies used to hear about it, but I never really heard what happened to the homie. Like, did he go to the hospital? Did fools get DP for that? I was already busted. But after reading the article, I already had knew about it. They already informed me about it. T-Bone talked about it on the SNY that he got busted for a triple murder. So I'm looking up the article, and this fool's been an NF member for a long time. He actually told to take a lesser charge, and he's out now. At least that's what the article says. So I had to go double check with a couple of people, and they were like, yeah, pretty much the article is saying everybody that these three individuals that got charged for the murder, everybody else that was involved, which was Beto, he was a conspiracy. He got charged with premeditated conspiracy, told to get a lesser charge so he can get out. So the moral of my story is, a lot of these guys get looked up to as big homies, padrinos, NF members. But this individual had a lot of respect. His family is well known in the streets of Visalia. This individual made a lot of bad calls, made a lot of money, took over a lot of streets, made his way to Modesto, was taking over those streets. And all this was behind because he thought people were cheating on his wife. The individuals that got killed were young kids. The victims were 31-year-old Edward Joseph Rain, 19-year-old Alexandria Telez, and 16-year-old Davis Ceballos. Or Sabiles or something like that. Because while Beto was in the county jail for Modesto, wherever they go, he actually got caught, and that's part of the court proceedings as well when he was fighting everything, that he actually got, they found Wilas signatured by him. It was a hit list that they were going to start distributing out to, whatever, like I said, whatever county Modesto was in. And it was going to be a hit list with the direct orders that hit everybody on this list, family included. So these individuals are not just targeting their primary targets anymore. Families are getting involved. This was an NF member who was the authority in charge at the time in Modesto, whatever county jail they go to. And he was sanctioning orders that these individuals need to get hit and hit their families as well. So these same individuals that a lot of these kids look up to and take orders from, just remember, they have no remorse for the human life. They have no remorse for other people. They don't even have remorse for innocent people. So you're going to get caught up in some business and some prison politics that one day you're going to be asked, hey, bro, I need you to kill this individual and everybody else in the house. You don't want to go through life with that on your conscience. And you sure as hell don't want to face life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty like one of the suspects was. You don't want that on your conscience neither. So don't allow another man to put you through all that just based on he wants orders and he has directives and he wants to get things done because he can't no longer, because he's incarcerated, because he got himself incarcerated, because he has nothing else in life to live for other than his authority that he's been appointed by other men. So that's all it is. It's just men giving power to other men, men controlling other men. Every man is controlled by the next man in this political game. So trust me, you're going to be controlled by a lot of people, not just one individual. So you're never really going to have control over your own life for a long time. And that's no way for no man to live. So with that being said, like I always say, it's one life, one chance. We only got one chance to do this right. Let's get it done. Peace.